What's up, family? Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2026. Welcome to my page. My name is Tony Rose, and if you're here, it's probably because you are a trader, you want to learn how to trade, or you're just trying to see if I'm full of crap and don't know what I'm doing and wanna roast me. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm here. This is kind of like my first time actually doing like the social media thing as far as recording and editing. So bear with me. You know what I mean? I'll get better. I do work in TV, but I'm not on the camera side. I'm usually behind the camera, man. I'm a stage manager by trade, and I'm usually behind the camera telling people where to go and what to do and counting them in. Five, four, three, two. That's what I do. If you want to see some of that, you can go to my personal page on IG. That's Stage Manager Tone. See a couple of things. If you want to go to my trading page on IG, it's Swing Trader Tone. I literally just opened it up to the public like last week because I've been chronicling my 2025, what I've been doing trading in. I was really just doing it for myself, just so I could have a record of, how I did, what I did wrong, how I could get better, stuff like that. And your boy turned from maybe January 2nd, first day of trading in 2024, in 2025, maybe like 2,700 to, as of yesterday, like 17,800, just shy of 18,000. Now I've been higher than that, took some money out, paid some bills because I was using some of that, throughout the year. Put some money in, took it out. I definitely took out more money than I put in. Maybe it got as high as maybe like 20,000, 21,000. But man, your boy did it right. You're talking about maybe like 660% on my bread, 6.5x on my money. That's all right. That's all right. But you're here, you want to see what I'm about. Tell you a little bit about myself. Once again, my name is Tony Rose. Some people call me T Rose, some people call me Big Tone. From Southside Jamaica, Queens, Rochdale Village. Got a couple of brothers. My mom's is Panamanian. My dad is Jamaican, and just a New York cat, man, trying to make it. Just trying to make it. Started doing this trading thing, actually a few years ago. Saw a couple of people that were doing it. It's like, oh shoot, man, I'm smart. I could do that. A couple of people, man. Here's your first warning. There's a couple of people out there that they're just not all good, man. Real estate, I mean, not real estate, but stock trading, options trading, day trading, and all that stuff. It's a real thing. I mean, I know a lot of people think it's just a scam and nobody could really make any money at it. No, you can. Now, what there are scammers. You know what I mean? A lot of people that tell you that they know what they're doing and they selling you these programs and they show all these returns on, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme. They show you, oh, I made this much money, that much money, but they ain't do it with trading. You know what I mean? Some do. There's some official cats out there and they really know what they're doing. Then there's some, I followed one, that just sell programs and sell bots that'll help you trade, so forth and so on. Next thing you know, they have like a couple million in their account because they got 1,000 people, 10,000 people to both go ahead and buy their program. They don't know how to trade, or they have a little bit of knowledge, so they sound great, or they're stealing something from somebody else and they just repeating what they're saying, and it sounds great. You buy into it, and it's trash. You know what I mean? So don't fall into that. I'm not one of these people. You know what I mean? I do my due diligence, I do my research. I actually have a really, really good mentor. His name is Tay Sweat, probably the best in the business. Anybody who you follow, especially if they're black, anybody who you follow, they know Tay Sweat. Whether it's your Earn Your Leisure Boys or Wall Street Trapper, whoever, you know what I mean? Whoever, they know Tay Sweat. Tay Sweat is official. That's who I'm in. I'm in the class with him. Everything I've learned, everything that's beneficial that I've learned is from him. You know what I mean? So shout out to Tay Sweat. Um, let's see. Give you a little bit more background, man. Like I said, from Jamaica, Queens. Went to a high school called Brooklyn Tech. Really, really good high school. For my money, it's the best high school in the country. You know what I mean? You had to take a test to get into it. It's a math and engineering high school. It expanded since then. But like I said, you take a test to get in there. I was electrical major, but we also had great sports. I ran track there, ended up being city champ, state champ, and won 10 hurdles. End up after that, got a scholarship to University of Iowa. Went to Iowa. Didn't run that much in Iowa, man. I couldn't get my act together, man. I couldn't stay eligible. So it's just one of those things. New York City kid transitioning to University of Iowa, from 98, 99% black community to 98% white. It was just really, really tough, man. Really tough for me. But your boy got through it, man. Graduated with a double major, communications and sociology. After that, moved to San Diego. In San Diego, I got on with MTV, talked myself onto a job with MTV, the MTV Beach House. This was summer 2000. Age of myself, I'm 52 years old, going to be 53 in a couple of weeks. Graduated high school in 90, went to University of Iowa, January 92. Coach held a scholarship for me. Graduated in 97, moved to San Diego. Um, they were building the MTV Beach House out there. I walked up to some guy cold, just cold. Hey, I might need a job, man. I might have to fire somebody. I might need a job. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Beat it. We already got everybody. We don't need nobody else. Like, get out of here. Left, got something to eat, came back, saw the same cat outside. I was like, hey, man, what you doing later? See, I'm actually looking for something to get into. My man Wayne. Shout out my man Wayne Brooks, man. If you know me, you know Wayne. If you don't know Wayne, then you probably heard of him, here and there. He actually got me into TV, ended up hiring me at MTV. I started off as a shuttle driver, just taking people from the set to the hotel, wherever they needed to go, going on runs. One day I'm sitting in the parking lot, I see a guy telling Steve Harvey and Eve and, you know, um, Nelly and all these people like where to go and what to do. Shout out my man Steve Van Patten. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell he does, but that's what I want to do. Found out I was a stage manager, kind of grinding my way up. And that's what I do to this day, man. As yesterday, I worked the Cotton Bowl game, Miami, Ohio State game. I'm a Big Ten guy. I was rooting for Ohio State. Miami did them in. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So all that to be said, I now live in Frisco, Texas, moved to Dallas 2010, chasing a girl. It worked out for a while. We got married, just recently divorced this year. Just got finalized maybe about 3 weeks ago. So I'm here, man. I'm here on the grind, still working, like I said, but making a transition into trading because I want to do trading full time. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting pretty good at it. So this whole page is just dedicated to Chronicle in 2026. So I'm just gonna put myself out there, leave it open, just be totally transparent with what I do. And if I make some mistakes, hey, maybe you can learn from those mistakes. If you see that I'm doing well, then you'd be like, yo, this cat knows what he's doing. I wish he would teach me how to do something. I'll create a Patreon page. I actually have a Patreon page. It's under Swing Trader Tone, and but I don't think that I've earned the right to teach anybody anything until I could show I could get from 20,000 to 200,000. Well, even if I get to 100,000 halfway through the year, you might be like, okay, yeah, this cat knows what he's doing. If enough people say, hey, can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? I'll go ahead and do that. But the Patreon page I have right now, I have just like a little thing. It's like $3.99 if you want to subscribe to me over there. And but that's just if you want to support your boy because same information you're going to get in that $3.99, I'm gonna give it to you for free on YouTube. I created this YouTube page. I have a IG page and I have a TikTok page, and they're all going to have the same content. I'll probably shorten some things for TikTok. They like the little, under 3 minute videos. So I'll try to keep it short on that. Maybe also keep it short on IG, but I'm not into all that editing and all that stuff either. Like I said, like I'm kind of a newbie at all of this. So as little as I can do, I'm going to do, put it on there, just hit those platforms, get some followers, but I'm going to be focused on this YouTube page and try to get my subscribers up. So, hey, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe, follow me, and we'll be here, man. We'll be here. Um, what else? This will probably be the longest of any of the videos that I ever put out here. I'm going to try to keep it between like somewhere between like 8 and 15 minutes. Because basically, what I'm going to do here, I'll get on, I'll say what's up, say hello, and then I'll share my screen with you and show you my brokerage account, see what we did that day. You know what I mean? Then from there, I'll probably go into a little bit of the charts, show you where it's going. But I'm not a day trader, right? So there's a few differences between being a day trader, being a swing trader. I'm a swing trader. And what that basically is I'm going to have options and shares that I'm trading that'll have like targets. I'm a target trader as well. So if I know that, oh, we're at $100 on the stock and I know my target is 160, I'm just going to shoot for that target. And and when that target hits, I'll take my profit, then I'll come down. Now that target might take, 2 weeks, it might take 3 months, it might take 6 months. So on the day to day, it's not gonna be that exciting. Like, oh, I made $500 today, $1,000 today, da 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 da. I'm not that, and I just found that out. I just found that day trading, now people make a lot of good money day trading. If you're a day trader, I could teach you some things as far as day trading because my techniques, they work. Everything I learned from Tay, they work. They are 100% viable for any time frame, whether you want to trade the 2 minute chart, 5 minute chart, the hour chart, 4 hour day chart, doesn't matter, man. The joints work. But what I found is I like those bigger gains. So with day trading, you might, you know, go up $1 in the stock and you make your money there. If you're playing options, you might get 2 contracts, 10 contracts, you make your money there. I'm more interested in the $50 moves, the $100 moves, and those will get you like your 10X's and your 20X's and your 40X's, 1,000% gain. So might take $100 and that turns into $1,000 in 6 months. You know what I mean? So I'm more into those. So that's a strategy I'm doing all 2026, 2025. Like I said, started out 2,700. I've gone up and down, so forth and so on, because I was doing, oh, well, let me be a day trader. That's sexy. I want to make money every day. Take your lumps day trading. There's no such thing as a 100% winner. You're going to lose. All right. And that's, just mentally, you have to get yourself into that. Nobody wins 100% of the time. You're going to be up and downs. You're going to lose sometimes. But what you do is you minimize your losses and you maximize your wins. So, maybe you lose, you know, 3%, 10%, but then when you win like 100%, 300%, 500%, 1,000%. All right. So I'm just choosing to be a swing trader. Once again, I do play options. I do options and I trade shares. And for the shares part, I do leverage shares. And like I said, this is not really going to be a teaching channel, right? You're just going to just be kind of like following my progress throughout 2026. But I'll give you a couple jewels here and there, and we could rock. You'll definitely learn some things as you're watching me as I'm explaining things um, daily. Now there's 252 days trading days in the year. So I'm going to be consistent with it. I was consistent with it all last year. Every day I posted. Even if I worked and I got home late, I posted. Sometimes I got home after midnight and everything reset. So I actually did like 2 and 1s. But there's 252 days because there's no trading on weekends, no trading on federal holidays, bank holidays. So, you get your 252 number. And then but I'll be consistent, man. Trust me. Like I said, you go over to that IG page, that Swing Trader Tone, and you'll see. Your boy was on it. I was on it. What else can I tell you, man? I think you'll enjoy the ride. Um, I'm mostly doing it for me, but I'm sharing it with you guys just because it holds me accountable. You know what I mean? Because I have my trading plan and I don't want to get off track. So if I tell you that I'm going to do a thing, if I tell you I'm just going to trade options and do leaps are another thing. Like if I do options, I'm not really short-term options trading. I don't have like 2 week expirations, 1 week expirations. Um, Minimum is probably going to be 6 months, but all the plays that I'm in right now have a year out expiration. Those are leaps. Those are long-term equity acquisition. Leaps, long-term equity anticipation securities. That's that acronym for leaps. And once again, the reason why I'm doing all these recordings is because there's this thing called a cone of learning, right? It says that after 2 weeks, you remember 10% of what you read, 20% of what you hear, 30% of what you see, 50% of what you see and hear, 70% of what you say, which makes sense, right? You know, you start singing a song, you sing it for 2 weeks and you start memorizing it, you remember 70% of it and you keep going. And you memorize 90% of what you say and do. So this is part of that 90% saying and doing. You know, I'm learning a lot. You know, like I said, like we have classes with Tay, super mentor, have thousands of hours of classes saved up. I mean, I really do this, man. I study my ass off. You know, I back test a lot, you know, hours of back testing, like, oh, what does this stock do? You know, there's so many things that you have to study and you have to get just your mind right. You have to get your mentals right. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. He says that a lot. So if you're undisciplined in your diet, you're probably gonna be undisciplined in your trading. It just is what it is. You are who you are, and how you do anything is how you do everything. You know, if hey man, if you're a cheater, you know what I mean, in your relationship, then you're probably going to cheat on the stocks or your strategy, and you're going to try to find something else that looks sexy, that looks good. You know, the flavor of the month thing. Again, you're going to bounce around, so you're not going to stay stable. So, I mean, there's a lot of mental to this too. So, you know, you have to stay focused, and that's my goal is just to stay focused. Now, when I get some profits, I may go ahead and open a separate account that's just going to be for like little, you know, week out to, you know, 2 week expirations. But and I'll just use profits for that because it's all about protecting your principal. Like if I'm starting out with 18K, you don't want to lose 18K, right? So you take the profits of it, and if you made 1,000 and you take like 200 of that and put it in some short term, you know, day trading or whatever, it's still profit. You don't lose your principal. So that's the point of that. But the more that I record and the more that I explain stuff, the more I remember and I get better. But man, there's all kind of things that you can use, man. Like you can use you could be a gap trader. You know, you could use support and resistance. You could use speed lines. You could use Fibonacci retracements. You could use Elliott waves. I mean, there's about 10 to 12 things that you can use. Me, I'm going to keep it very, very simple. I'm going to use like three things, and I'm not going to get into those because I don't even want them out on the open like that because hey man, there's a lot of programs out here that chase down what you know, and they be like, oh, okay, he uses that. Let me go ahead and take the money from him using that, and they'll just stall you out. You know what I mean? They trust me, they have programs that'll chase your stop losses. A lot of people use stop losses. I don't use stop losses. If anything, I'll keep it mentally. Like, oh, if I'm down 10%, 20%, I'll get out of this trade or whatever. But I actually have ways to counteract that too. You know, I'll give you a little jewel called averaging down. You know, you average down on some prices and then it doesn't take you as long as to get into the profit. I'll teach you some of those things. Trust me, I'll teach you some of those things. I'll definitely give you more than what you invest in me. All right. Let's just say that. If you decide to subscribe, if you decide to give me a tip, $5 tip, $10 tip, if I do the Patreon classes and, you know, paying 39.99 a month or 99.99 a month, I'll give you more than your money's worth on that. I trust me. I got you. Like I said, like I study, you know what I mean? I put in the work, I study, I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning. But I think I could turn that six and a half, that 660% that I made this year into 1,000%. So my goal is to 10x every year. And you know, my thing for you is not to look at the percentages, right? I mean, not to look at the amounts, look at the percentages. Because let's just say I start out with $1,000, you know, and let's say you don't 6x your money. Let's just say you 5x your money every year. I get you to $1 million in 5 years, man. Most jobs that you work in or whatever you're doing, you're not going to get $1 million in 5 years. How I'm going to do that? So you start out with $1,000. Turn that 1,000 The first year you turn that thousand into 5,000. That's 5x in your money. That's 500%. I made 660%, making a lot of mistakes, being greedy, not following the plan. But let's just say I don't even get to 660 again. Let's just say I stay at 500. That first year, the 1,000 turns into 5,000. Second year, that 5,000 turns into 25,000. All right. Third year, that 25,000 turns into turns into 125,000. You know, 125,000 is going to turn into what's that? 675. 125 times 5, 75, 575 turns into 575. That's after 4 years, 575. Now, let's say you go ahead and pay some taxes on that 575. Let's say you paid $275,000 worth of taxes. Uncle Sam rapes you, takes that. You have $300,000 left. 300,000, you 5x 300,000, that's 1.5 million in your fifth year. Just 5xing. I'm trying to 10x. Truth be told, I think I could do more than 10x, but let's be easy, you know what I mean? But 5 years is $1.5 million, man. Now you could be a full-time trader. You get to that $1 million mark, be a full-time trader, you quit your job, start handling some business and take care of your family, and then teach other people how you did what you did, because man, nobody believes that you can do it, man, until you do it. I have a friend that said, hey, do you know anybody that's made this much money? I'm like, yeah, my mentor Tay. He's like, no, do you know somebody personally? But how many of us, especially that look like us, actually were taught how to trade or any kind of investing, and as opposed to, hey, just go out and get a good job, work at 9 to 5 and work for 20, 25 years, 30 years, get a pension and so forth and so on. Man, we're running into AI right now. We got bots taking jobs. One day your boss might just wake up like, hey, we just need some budget cuts and get fired. That shit is not guaranteed. Pardon me for cursing, but it's not guaranteed, man. So you have to learn something else. You have to supplement your income with something else. Man, even if you don't become a millionaire and you just make $10,000 a year, or if you make, you know, I don't know, a extra 5, 10, 15, $20,000 a year. And that's groceries, man. That's, what I mean, that's a lot of bills you could pay. I mean, so just learn, supplement your income, with what you can. And, let's go ahead and get this bread, man. But I'm going to help you, man. I'll hold your hands. I'm going to help you, you know, and then I'll be the person that you say, hey, yeah, I do know somebody that did it. And it'll be like, boom, my man Tone. But I'm gonna cut this short now. Like I said, this was kind of just an intro to the page. What you'll be seeing on the page, once again, you just see my day to day. You'll see my charts. You'll see my brokerage account. I'm not gonna, if I do make any money from the ad sales from YouTube and all that stuff, I'm not gonna use that money. I will just use my regular work money, because that's what you should do. You know what I mean? Like, if you work in a job and you make $600 a week, $1,000 a week, whatever it is, take a part of that, put it in your brokerage account, and then try to grow that. Because just putting in your savings account is no bueno. Look into your savings account right now. Your savings account might say, oh, you're going to make 0.03% on your money, 0.05% on your money. If you're lucky, you might have something that might pay you like 4%, 5% on your money a year. So that means for every $100 that you have in your savings account, you make $5. You have $1,000 in your savings account, you make $50. What I just told you, if you put $1,000 in a brokerage account and you learn how to trade, you could turn that 1,000 into 5,000. So at the end of the year, you made 5,000. So you're actually going to have 6,000 in your account. All right. Not $1,050. And then all the banks do, listen, I'll give you another jewel. This is called arbitrage. What the banks do, you put $1,000 in the bank, you put $5,000 in the bank, they pay you that, say, let's just say you have a great bank and they give you 5% a year. What they do is they take that $1,000, that $5,000 and lend it to somebody else for like 20%, 25%. They make 20% on your money. They give you back 5%. They make 20%. Who made the bulk of the money? And that's what they do. So the banks really need us, but they act like we need them. We need to put our money in the savings account. No, put your money in a brokerage account, find something, let it grow. As it grows, you get to that $1 million mark, you find something that gives you 5% dividends a year. Make 5% on $1 million over the year, you get paid every quarter on that. My goal is to get to at least $10 million. My goal is way higher than that. My goal, my initial goal is 350 mil. I just put that out there. I expect to be a billionaire in 7 years, but my initial goal is 350 million. My short-term goal is 10 million. Why 10 million? If I take 10 million and I put it in something that's 5%, then I'm making $500,000 a year. I could live off of that alone. All right. But I'm not going to do that with my dividends until I get to maybe like 15 million, 20 million. Put 10 million in the dividend account, get $500,000 off of that a year, and trade the 10 million. Try to 10x that 10 million. And no, we're talking crazy numbers, right? But it's really not that far-fetched. I just showed you could turn 1,000 into 1.5 million in 5 years. So, let's get it, man. Let's get it. So that's my intro. The next thing I'm going to record, I'm probably just going to record just a demo of what I'm going to be doing every day. Just so you can look at both of those two together. And then starting tomorrow, man, January 2nd, we're off to the races. All right. So I'll keep you posted. Like I said, welcome in. I appreciate you following me. Trust me, I got your back. I'm official dude. Those 1,000 people that know me in real life, you already know I'm official. So I know you follow me and you already know my history and all that stuff. So, I'm a stand-up dude, not fake. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I got it, I got you. If I have a job for you, I'll get you that job. You already know. If you don't know me, you're going to learn to know me. And we're going to go from there. All right. So talk to you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow. One love.